Was there any, because I know you were doing filming interviews, but was there any celebrities you actually met, like one-on-one in person? Did you get to talk to any of them directly?
No, just as the camera guy standing next to the person talking.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, normally I would say thank you, or kind of like when we'd finish up, and they would, they acknowledge me. They're not like jerks. Like they were like, oh, you're the person here too.
Well, you never know with celebrities.
Yeah. Most
they were all
them,
good.
Most of them were really cool.
Good. I remember you said, I don't know if you want to put them on blast, but you said one was very weird.
Yeah. I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to do that. But we'll say like some of the memorable ones was Mark Hamill. Of course. To see Mark Hamill and meet him. That was really, really cool. But then some of the other, like some of the guys, like recent guys like Chris Pratt and Glenn Powell that I think are fantastic in their movies, and then in person they were great too. Yeah.
That's good. It's good to hear when there's actually like you have positive interactions with celebrities, because you never know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good time.
I just want to say, out of them all, I wouldn't know how to react to if I was that close to Ana de Armas.
Oh,
that would be that's very special of an experience.
She was very nice. Hey, welcome back to Screen Time TV, a podcast where we discuss some of the latest streaming shows. We're going to cover today the White Lotus Season 3, just kind of the whole season as a whole, and discuss that. But before that, we will, of course, do Based or Waste.
Of course.
And before that, what we've been watching. And then before that, a little recap of my experience at CinemaCon.
Yes.
But Jared, I just don't think at this age I'm meant to live in an uncomfortable life. I just don't have the will.
Yeah. That's been, I've been seeing that a lot on the internet, that one come up.
So my name's Josh, and this is my co-host Jared.
Hello. I'm Jared.
Jared with an E.
That's right. E-R-E-D. Most people spell my name wrong. There's one I just thought about it, and I'm trying to remember. There is a quote that the Saxton, the douchiest guy ever, says. Yeah. It's I don't do drugs, I am the drug.
Yes.
Like, it's ridiculous. That's what I'm using for my intro then.
Yeah, okay. I am the drug.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah, CinemaCon.
CinemaCon. Yeah, so I went to CinemaCon just last week, 2025. And those of you who don't know, it's a event geared towards movie theater owners and exhibitors. It's a kind of like a convention, but all the major studios do a 1.5 to 2 hour presentation about upcoming things, and they even do some exclusive announcements, show exclusive content, and they're very strict about no cameras or video, anything in those presentations. Now I was there for work, so I was filming not in the presentations, but a lot of things after. And
interviews,
and then covering some interview red carpet type things with some of the so I will say one of the standout things was in Universal's presentation. They had their in-house full orchestra on stage.
Oh.
And they did a medley of all their IP themes from one to another, and then they also cut footage to go along with it. So you had on the major screen just projecting this footage of, Jaws, Back to the Future,
wow,
Jurassic Park.
That is awesome.
Of course, and all leading up to Wicked then at the end, because that's their most popular recent thing. Harry Potter.
Wow.
What are some of the other Universal stuff done? There's more of that, because there was a ton of stuff in there, and I'm forgetting some, but
that's really cool.
Such a amazing experience to hear that I mean, had chills while listening to it because it was just so cool.
It's a
I
very
mean, even
different experience than just hearing it in a movie.
right.
When it's actually
it was
there.
so just a lot like having it was so well mic'd and mixed in the
Yeah.
room too. Like it was just powerful to hear these live instruments being played.
So full orchestra.
Yes,
Awesome.
including like other things like guitar and electric guitar, all the things they would need to do any of the scores, and it was amazing. And then they used them as the intro and outro music and the transitions. They all played stuff too for that.
That's cool.
So they were up there the whole time.
That's awesome.
But that intro was like so epic. And so, I mean, I hope they put out that somewhere at some point for people to watch because it was cool, but I don't know if they will, but
They do that every year at a highlight for me when they do the video game awards every year. They do a medley with the full orchestra of all the nominated games of that year. It's really cool.
yeah.
And in the video game awards has its own theme that they've created for that as well that plays throughout. It's awesome. So like that's something that like it would be cool just to be a part of that because they always have so many extra people besides the orchestra on stage playing like you said, guitar or
Plenty of other
piano,
some other
there's
some other instruments that but most of it was like full orchestra. That was most of the stage. But it was just this really really special moment. That was really cool.
That's awesome. Was there any, because I know you were doing filming interviews, but was there any celebrities you actually met like one-on-one in person? Did you get to talk to any of them directly?
No, just as the camera guy standing next to the person talking.
Okay.
And I mean, normally we would say thank you or kind of like when we'd finish up and they would, they acknowledge me. They're not like jerks. Like they were like, oh, you're the person here too.
Well, you never know with celebrities.
Most
they were all
them,
good.
Most of them were really cool.
Good. I remember you said, I don't know if you want to put them on blast, but you said one was very weird.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna do that. But we'll say like some of the memorable ones was Mark Hamill. Of course, to see Mark Hamill and meet him. That was really really cool. But then some of the guys like recent guys like Chris Pratt and Glenn Powell that I think are fantastic in their movies, and then in person they were great too. Yeah.
That's good. It's good to hear when there's actually like you have positive interactions with celebrities because you never know.
Yeah. So, but it was a good time.
I just want to say, out of them all, I wouldn't know how to react to if I was that close to Ana de Armas. That would be that's very special of an experience.
She was very nice.
Yeah,
she was actually
her and Sydney Sweeney. I guess those are the two that you showed me pictures of. That like that's really cool that you got to.
Yeah, I'll have to at some point. I'll have to show you the actual like interview clip, like the stuff from the real camera, and not just a couple of behind the scenes photos that I was taking with my phone.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and it's just cool, like having that level of because I heard that even or maybe you told me like Leonardo DiCaprio was even there, so it's cool to have that big of celebrities there at this. Because I wasn't familiar with this. How long have they been doing CinemaCon?
Long time. I have been because I remember some of the podcasts, and which was also kind of surreal for me this year because some of the
people you
movie news podcasts that I listened to, like the Slash Film Daily podcast, and then they were recapping things coming out of CinemaCon.
That's cool. Being
like, hey, and this news came out, and it's funny is because they even got something wrong. Because they weren't aware of the details.
Did you write into them?
Because they weren't.
Correction?
No, I did not. Because they weren't there in person. Because they actually said that. They're like, hey, we didn't cover it in person this year. So sometimes they probably sent somebody. And so it was interesting to mention cool. Because it was the detail was about the Beatles movies.
Yeah.
And they said that they were like, there was a rumor they're all going to be released the same day, but like there's no way they're doing that, and it'll probably release. And then so and so said there was a released a week apart, and they're like, so that's probably what's going to happen. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, they said all the same day, and that was literally in the announcement.
It's because it's a very hard thing to believe because they haven't really done that ever before. Put out 4 movies the same day. That's crazy, but
But it was it was
Yeah.
cool to see some of those directors like Sam Mendes that
Right.
we've
yeah.
covered on our podcast and all his films, and we even discussed, I think at the end we are like, and he's rumored to be doing these Beatle movies.
Yeah, we did
next.
talk about it then.
And sure enough, that's what he's doing. So
I was I think this came out before CinemaCon technically, or right before, but another highlight for me was Paul Thomas Anderson's next movie, finally, which I don't know if he was there.
he was not, but they did.
But they showed the trailer.
The trailer.
One battle after another, I think is the name of it.
They had some of the talent there but he
well,
wasn't.
Leo's in that, I know. I don't remember who else is in.
That's right. He was. That's why he was there.
That's why he was there.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if he was there for another reason.
And they showed us an extended clip from it. Now I remember.
So you got to see more of it.
So
Nice.
it wasn't just the trailer. It was like
Nice.
which they did a lot with a lot of things. Like they would bring out some of the talent, sometimes the director,
cool.
and then they would talk a little bit about the movie, talk about a scene they're going to show, and be like, and they would show an extended scene. And a lot of times the extended scene didn't roll into like the trailer, and sometimes it was also the first time they were showing the trailer to anybody.
Did they show any? Oh, I think you told me they showed like a full movie. Did they show any full movies?
Yeah, so just one. The only studio showed a full movie that I was aware of was the How to Train Your Dragon movie,
That's right.
like the live action version.
I thought they would have showed Ballerina because that's like coming out soon anyway. I
Yeah.
figured that'd be one that they would.
But How to Train Your Dragon's like 2 months away. And,
Yeah.
then they also showed the first 10 minutes of F1.
That's
So I got
right.
to see like that, just the opening, like 10 minutes. When that was good. Really excited for that. And then I think I told you they brought Edgar Wright out and
Yes.
and Glenn Powell and what's his name? I'm drawing blank his name. Anyway, and for Running Man, and then showed the first.
I don't know who else is in that besides.
What's his
Glenn Powell.
name? Josh Brolin.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he was there too. And then they showed the first, which I don't even know if it's out for everybody else to see yet.
No, I haven't
But they
seen
showed us
anything
like
yet.
a trailer for that, which looks amazing. And
Yeah, that was
excited for
another
that.
one when we covered Edgar Wright also, and we
Yep.
also looked up. I remember seeing a rumor
Yeah,
about that.
That's what he was working on next. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So cool. So
How many of these will actually? Well, I guess quite a few. I was wondering how many will actually be out this year, as opposed to more in the future.
most of the stuff they showed would be out later this year, either this summer or
Okay.
or in the like kind of Christmas, the holiday season. They would sometimes announce with just like a poster or a logo for something that was coming in 2026. Like they wouldn't have a trailer for something like that far out. They would just be like,
That's true.
but they make some announcements, like casting announcements, like the Beatles one. Like all they did was show posters and cast announcement, and they brought them
Yeah.
on stage. So like that was all happened at CinemaCon. And so,
The one thing I asked you about that I was the only thing I was kind of bummed about was nothing about Dune Messiah. Like I was hoping there'd be.
nothing there for that.
Yeah,
But
that's still a lot that
is
they
that
covered.
coming in 2026 or 2027?
As of now, unless it gets moved, they already dated it for I can't remember when, but definitely 2026.
Okay.
So I'm assuming
So
they've already filmed some at least.
another one of the pleasant surprises.
Yeah,
The new Naked Gun movie looks hilarious.
I did see the trailer for that.
Did they bring it out?
Mhm.
Because I think it was the first time. Some of the stuff they would show it there, and then they would release it like the next day.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was happening. I didn't. I wasn't
Really?
into it.
Did you
Yeah.
like the original films?
Oh yeah, I did. But
Okay.
it's just, I don't know. There was something about it. I will still check it out when it comes out, but I wasn't into it as much as you, I guess.
I mean, it was one of the things we were all like the whole room was rolling, laughing
Nice.
when they showed it. But
It's a good sign. Yeah.
just if so over the top.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of comedies, we were talking about it a little bit ago. Like that's kind
Yes.
of along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, so great time. It was long days, but good time.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome experience. I mentioned you because I mentioned you when we weren't recording, but you were sending me. Oh, it was right before actually we were recording Nosferatu,
Mhm.
and you were sending me all these pictures of you like right in front of these celebrities.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is crazy. And then for a split second, I was like, this is April 1st today. And I was like, I don't think Josh would do this as a joke because I knew you were there.
Yep.
But like for a split second, I had to like, I'm like, is he really this close to all these celebrities? But you were.
Yeah, it is funny. Like to your point, it is funny.
Was anyone skeptical on that day in general?
No. But
No?
but what I was gonna say is that's funny is to have photos on your camera roll that you took with your phone, but then be like see them, maybe not the same photo, but like almost the same photo of the same person, like posted online as like a
Well, they weren't allowed. So were phones even allowed in general for? Not during the presentation.
Not during the presentation, but for the red carpets, yeah, we were allowed to take because we were filming other stuff, and then we were allowed to take whatever photos and video with your phone too. I mean, some of those social companies were just using phones to film their stuff on the red carpet, which is kind of.
I mean, at this point, yeah,
but still, like.
But I mean, but where we're at with the newest iPhone, like. That has to look, I don't know, I haven't seen it in person yet, but like filming on that has to look incredible by this point. Like the capability
it still
of
looks
it.
Really good, but like it's never going to look as good as a really nice lens and a large sensor of a cinema camera that I was using. So that stuff's definitely going to look better.
Well, you heard it here first. This is now your go-to podcast because Josh was actually there. Some other podcasts that talk about movies weren't there.
Yeah.
So
take that
right in
/Film Daily.
We're gonna get in the internet beef with /Film.
They're like, who are these guys?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, I did listen to a different movie podcasts. I did listen to that. They were actually there and they were talking about it. Yeah, which is really cool. Okay. So it was cool to hear.
I mean, there was plenty of press there.
Yeah, I imagine.
I do one of the red carpets. I saw because they put the little like label on the floor for your, who you were there for, and that's where you're like, here's your spot to stand. And there was IGN was there for one of them.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So they. Right, but like you /Film, you probably like and of course,
I wonder why they weren't there.
The way they talked was like, oh yeah, we didn't cover this year in person. Well, they must have been there at other years in person. So, but yeah, interesting. Nice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Right in feedback at screentimepod.com.
If you have a question about CinemaCon, I was there for 5 days and saw 8 presentations roughly, and did 4 red carpets. And so like, if you have a specific question or something about something, let me know.
Josh was a big deal. Like, just talking about an Anchorman.
Yeah, people know me. I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Not really, but so.
Hey, enough so that you got to go to this though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into what we've been watching. Since I've been talking about we'll start with something you've been watching.
Sure. Yeah. I only have 2 things. How many?
I kind of have 3, but it's more really only one's new. The other 2 are.
Okay. I will start with Mobland.
Okay. You should.
Yeah.
You got to watch this. I haven't checked this out.
Okay. Yet. I only watched very little of it, but this is on Paramount. It is Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren, which is awesome cast wise.
Yes.
It is Guy Ritchie's involved in this. He directed the first 2 episodes and executive produced, I want to say. And it definitely has that feel, I would say closest to like The Gentleman, which was really good. I know I never finished it. You finished it on Netflix. I would say so far, I think I like The Gentleman more than this.
Okay.
But I'm still sticking with this because it's just, I love Tom Hardy and I think it's cool that he's in a TV show because it's been a long time since he's done that.
Since Peaky Blinders, probably, right?
Yeah. And he did a very short miniseries called Taboo, which was really awesome too. But yeah, Peaky Blinders, I guess he was in a few seasons of that. So, no, but I still like the show. It's just, I'm not sure how to describe it though. Because I don't want to say it's generic because like it's not generic. It's just Guy Ritchie has a very specific feel, and all of his stuff feels like that.
Yep.
Which is cool. And that's why I said it feels like The Gentleman, but there's still something different about it that I don't know. I'll talk about more when I
Much more.
yeah, because there's only 2 episodes so far. But yeah, so that's my first one.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and
Yeah. So it's like the new thing I watched was a few episodes. I think the first 3 episodes of Dying for Sex. This is on Hulu.
yeah, I did not check this out.
This is kind of, I think, loosely based on a true story because it's based on a podcast that was like
Okay.
but the story of a woman diagnosed with breast cancer, and then like metastasizes, and she's got only a couple years to live. So she leaves her husband of 15 years to explore like other things, and including like sexuality. Like she'd never have an orgasm with her husband in the 15 years. And it stars Michelle Williams as the lady, and then her best friend Jenny Slate.
Okay.
And they're great together, and the performances are great, and the overall, like, not the orgasm part, but like just overall, like, is a little close to home for me with, like, you know, your
Yes.
wife going through cancer, and so I was just fascinated by that, and I really, it's well done because I think some of those moments are very real, like how it feels, and really like that those moments, and the performance is really good by Michelle Williams, and like just kind of dealing with the life like that.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised. Like, yeah, since it does hit so close to home to you. Like, I'm surprised you still want to watch it though.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely moments that are way more emotional for me than probably for
Sure.
other people, but no, I don't want to shy away from the kind of curious of like it was somewhat was curiosity of like, okay, how did they do a good job with this? But then once they did a good job with it, it's like I appreciate it and just kind of wanting to and then like so the performances are great by them, and it, you know, it's a well done show, I think, so far. I mean, but
Is it, I guess because of the subject matter, and like I guess it's a mix of drama and comedy. Like
there's some like kind of awkwardness, a little bit of,
because I was curious what the feel of the show is, like overall how they approached it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some it's not like definitely not a comedy. It's more drama than comedy, but
Yeah. Okay.
it does have a little bit of the dramedy in there, like to lighten the mood some for some of the stuff. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet, but I might. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and we're gonna be. I'm looking forward to The Last of Us a lot, and that's what we're gonna be covering next. So.
Yes, after this, we're going week to week.
And
to
I
Last
just,
of Us.
well, both of us just like, because I just finished White Lotus earlier today, and so did you. Like, we were down to the wire of.
Yeah. I don't know what your
finishing that,
excuse was.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, it didn't come out till last like we were recording on Monday, so
Yeah.
But
I don't think my other one. I don't think you've checked this out. So
okay.
I don't know if we'll have any crossover this week with our.
Well, the one you might, but you go ahead. What I was going to talk about. Yeah.
You want me to do another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's Live with John Mulaney.
Okay.
On Netflix. So he did Everybody's in LA, I think is what it was called.
Okay.
It was a very short, I think I talked about it when it came out, like a 5-episode thing. And he filmed it just like a live show. And he did it I don't know what it was for. It was a time when everyone was in LA and he could just get all these celebrities real quick to like come on and just hang out or talk.
Yeah.
And it was a cool vibe. Yeah, very loose, like talk show. And they kind of just, but that was way more loose. Like, so this one I want to mention because they also did do this live. It's going to be longer though, more episodes. And I like the feel of this one way more because it has more of a cohesion to it, I guess.
Okay.
It's cool because it's John Mulaney hosting, and then Richard Kind, which he also, same actor, did on this last one as well. Like, he just staying up in there, like kind of like his second man, like just randomly like remarking on things, and he's funny and he's great. I mean, Richard Kind's been in a ton of stuff. You probably don't know the name, but if you saw his face and heard his voice, you would know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the every episode, what I like this time is they pick just a random topic, and they'll get random celebrities to come on.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take calls from people, and they'll usually have bring on an expert of that topic, just that's in that field. So like the first episode was about lending people money. That was the theme, which is really funny. And they got a couple guests like I don't remember who was on that one. Ben Stiller was on the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael Keaton was on one also. I don't know about that same one. But and then so they had someone that's like a financial person on, just, and then they would take calls, but they'd also talk to them about it.
Okay.
And then they always have a musical guest too, which I think is cool. So it's kind of that similar formula, but I like how they're doing like really random topics. Because another one was like boat cruises was another episode. I'm trying to remember what this most recent one was. But it's just
Fun.
I like it better than the other one. Yeah, it's way more fun. Yeah.
So where's this playing?
Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah.
So streaming on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if I said Dying for Sex is Hulu.
Yeah. But this is weird because they did it with the other John Mulaney thing too. Like it is live,
Mm-hmm.
which they've done a few times on Netflix. So whenever it does come out,
Like it first shows up, it's
but I'm
live.
like, what's the difference? I guess.
I mean, and then I'm assuming, well, it means that they
But
can't
then
go
it's
back
on-
and edit like
Sure.
changes.
Yeah, I guess
And
that's
so,
what the point.
so whatever stays there, it was recorded live, even if stays, even if you watch it, a day or a week later, still knowing that it was
Yeah, like I'm not gonna ever watch this live like when it actually comes out, but it's just it's a
Right,
cool
but like
it's a cool concept.
it's live, so whatever happens. Like, they're not going to edit.
I did notice it's funny the first episode when he first starts, like the mic he's using is just really low, and like so they had to adjust stuff like that on the fly. Like so I could tell like it is live. Like then I guess you're right. Yeah, they didn't do any post afterwards
to clean that
with
up.
it. So that's that's my other one. But I would say check it out because it's short too, and it's really entertaining. I like it a lot.
Cool. So yeah, my other two, I just wanted to Surface season 2. I finished it.
Okay.
Thought it ended pretty well. I mean, if you like season 1 at all, season 2 is just as good, if not more interesting in some ways. Just, anyway, the premise of it is like the truth surfaces and leaves Sophie with one question: what's her next move? Is kind of like what they do in season 2. But
Is it anthology? Like, is it a completely
No.
different story?
No,
Okay.
no.
I thought it
This
was
is-
for some reason.
No, it's
Continuous?
It's a
Okay.
continuous. It is because the first season takes place completely in San Diego, somewhere on the West Coast. No, or San Francisco, I think. And so that one takes place completely there. But then she basically at the end of that kind of finds out that like she's originally from England, or
Oh.
has like family back in England. So then like that's kind of finds out at the end. And then so season 2 all takes place in like basically London or the countryside near London kind of stuff.
Cool.
So like it's a very different setting, very it's interesting, fun, like mystery kind of thing, who is she?
This is one I never watched.
But yeah, so that's Surface, season 1 and 2 on Apple TV Plus.
Yep.
And then the last thing I just wanted to bring up was The Studio, episode 3. Did you watch episode 3?
I did watch it. I just didn't write it down, but
The Note.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and then this one to recap, Matt feels nervous about giving a legendary director, Ron Howard, a difficult piece of feedback. This show continues to be amazing.
Yes.
It's so well written, so well done. The cameos are always great. Like the people they get in there, it's just so good. So I just felt like I needed to shout it out again, and I might do that every week on each episode because it's a lot of fun.
It really is. It's if you haven't watched it yet, And like we mentioned already, like even if you're not big into like Hollywood and kind of like what all goes down in Hollywood, like you'll still like this show. But it is very like inside baseball about Hollywood. But that's why, you're more familiar with those kind of aspects of it. Just like the franchise, was that the show? Yeah. But I still liked it a lot. I still like the franchise a lot too. But there's like some jokes in there sometimes that you probably like get more. It'd be the same thing if there was like a show about the music industry.
Yes.
And there'd probably be some inside jokes or just like deeper layer jokes that you might not get as much that I would be laughing at more. Yeah. So.
No, for sure.
But yeah, no, the studio is great. It is one, like I said, I really like look forward to and watch immediately when it comes up.
Yeah. And that is on Apple TV Plus.
Yes. Okay.
It's time for Based or Waste.
All right, welcome back to Based or Waste. The game show it's not on Rotten Tomatoes, I should say. We go on Rotten Tomatoes, check what's trending. I pick 10 things that are trending, films or TV shows, and Josh is going to guess if they're good or bad, if they're based or waste, and that is going to be going off of the audience scores. I don't know what you got last time. Oh no, you were doing better. You got a 7, I think, last time. So we'll see how we go this time. We were back to TV for today. Everyone play along at home too. Let us know how you do. It's very easy. You just guess what the overall the world thinks of a show.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
Based or waste.
A little strange, some of them lately. I don't know. The world's interesting about some of these shows. I don't know. I'm finding myself disagreeing with a lot more now of
this political climate.
Yeah. It's we truly are a divided nation, Josh.
We can't decide on a show is good or not,
No. I still side with the audience more than the critics, though, for sure. Critics are whack. All right.
Careful. We're borderline critics at this point.
Hey. People probably watch us and think we are whack. That's fine. All right. But no, podcasters aren't whack, though. We like them. Like, what'd you call it? Slash film?
Daily, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, shout out to them. I've never listened to them, but we don't want to get into any beef with them, or do we? Maybe bring all their audience over to us. All right, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. First one is a big one. That's still, man, I've been seeing so much about this still. Adolescence. This is like done numbers on Netflix, hasn't it? Like crazy numbers.
I mean, I'm gonna say based. I mean, there's no way that people
seems divisive though, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I've seen some stuff.
Ratings.
Yeah, it is based 74. I don't know. I've been seeing more. That happens though when anything gets that big though of a
then it's like
controversial.
And then it's like, well, I'm gonna get more clicks and views because I'm gonna say I hate it.
Yeah. All right. Next one we were just talking about, the studio.
Oh, this got to be based.
Yes.
What's the number on it?
I don't agree with this number at all. It is sitting at a 69 right now.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It's a little lower than it should be.
Way lower than it. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know.
This is the audience score, though, and there might be a lot of people that just don't get it.
You just don't get it, man. Well, also, all these things, because I pick like some of the top stuff, and it changes so much based on how many people have rated it. So it fluctuates a lot. So I just check it every week, and then sometimes that's why I like to revisit some of them too, because some of them do change drastically. So we'll see how this one moves. But yeah, very weird. It's should be rated way higher. All right. And then we just talked about this one too, Mobland.
Audience score. We'll say based.
Yeah, 66 though. Kind of low. I don't agree with that either. Like, I'm not sure about the show, but it's definitely better than a 66. All right. Yeah, this is a good week for him. Like, I think all of these we've either watched or are very familiar with.
Okay.
But we've had got a lot
that's always helpful, because sometimes you pick something, I'm like, I don't know what this is.
The problem is there's not always...
Especially on the film side, but...
Yeah, but there's not always sometimes enough, or ones that aren't even rated enough yet that I can't, because if...
Yeah.
Sometimes there will only be a critics rating. There won't be an audience rating.
That's fair.
But this one, I know you watched, at least some of, The Residents.
Oh, yes. I'm going to say based.
Yes, 75. I need to check that one out too. Since you told me it's not a Josh show, it's actually a... I don't know why I was thinking that one was a Josh show. Which if
like that's a negative thing.
Audience doesn't understand, but yeah, this is a very particular type of show, and I call it a Josh show. and a lot of those I don't really like, but there's a lot of shows we both like, obviously, or else I don't know why we would do a podcast together if we didn't like any shows that we both like. That would be very hard to do. Well, maybe be better actually, because we'd be arguing all the time. I don't know. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Yeah. This next one is Happy Face. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Happy Face.
Oh.
It's about a happy face killer.
That was a movie.
No. TV show on Peacock, I believe. I have not checked it out yet.
Man.
It has the main people I recognize though in it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. So, I'll just say based.
Nope. It is Waste, a 34.
Oof.
Yeah. So maybe I won't check it out.
Well, just sometimes horror, I feel like it's a lot of times that gets a pass.
Well, yeah, but it's more a thriller, I imagine.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably. It says what it seems to be anyway. You know what? I think Dennis Quaid is the happy face killer, I believe. It's from like the 80s or 90s, but then like he comes back. Like this is the plot synopsis essentially. He comes back or has something to do with his daughter. And she's the main actress. I recognize her too. I forget her name, but anyway. All right. Next one. Another great show, Dope Thief.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say based on this one.
Yes, 81.
This is one I still need to watch more of. I haven't watched that much of it.
Yeah, me too. I was saving up a few of them to watch through back to back. So yeah, if you have, that's also on Apple. Shout out. Everyone watch Dope Thief. Okay. The Wheel of Time, season 3. This is a tricky one. It's like almost as divisive as Lord of the Rings, at least from what I've seen of this show. It's like people love it or hate it.
I'm going to say
Or Rings of
based.
Power,
I'm
I
going to
should
say based.
You're right. Yeah.
Right.
This is higher than what I've seen the show before. Maybe this third season's good. Yeah, it's 81 right now.
Well, I wasn't as familiar with season 3. I remember watching the first couple episodes of season 1 and being like, and then not really getting into it. But then hearing that it gets better by the end, and then I had heard a lot of good things about season 2.
Okay.
So it's kind of hoping that was my guess. That it was like, well, maybe season 3's they kind of kept up with, like, once they kind of figured out what they were doing, like in season 2 was successful, that they would just kind of do more of the same and make a good season.
Seems like it's like the same trajectory as Rings of Power. It's like they learned from the first season. Second season's better. Maybe third season will be even better. Yeah, I remember checking out Wheel of Time when it first came out, and I was like, this is not great, but maybe it is now. All right, 3 more. Devil May Cry. This is a
Animation.
Yeah.
Anime.
that just came out.
I'm going to say based.
Yeah, 75.
Nice.
Yeah, anime is always does. I shouldn't say always, but usually
Traditionally.
especially on Netflix, does it really well.
Yeah. But I remember there was one not that long ago that because it was anime, I was like, it's probably based, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. But yeah, you're right. There was something. Okay, that was Netflix. Speaking of more Netflix, Pulse. This is the
medical.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
that I only know about because it's like everyone's trying to do this now, I guess, because of the pit. I don't know. Everyone's trying to.
Well, that was a quick turnaround.
Sure, that's true.
They're probably just doing it already. I'm gonna say waste on this one.
Correct.
Ooh, yes.
54. Yeah, I saw. I don't remember where, but I saw a clip of this.
I just remember watching the trailer and being like,
Well, this looked horrible. It was. I saw a clip of this, and it was like, I guess the intro to one of the episodes, and it was just like the outside of the hospital, and it was like, and it was raining out, and it was all CG. It was like they just didn't want to film it, and it looked
so bad,
horrible. Like some of the worst CG I've seen in a long time. So I don't know if their budget wasn't that good.
It was
They just
AI
rushed.
generated.
Honestly, it kind of looked like it was. So maybe it was real bad looking, but yeah. All right, last one. This one I want to check out. I'm curious if you heard about this one. Good American Family.
I have heard about this.
Yeah,
but I
this
have
is
not watched
Hulu,
it.
I think.
Yes, this is on Hulu.
Yeah, it's got the Grey's Anatomy girl. Forget her name.
Yes, it does.
And Mark Duplass, right?
I can't remember.
From the league.
Yeah.
Also Morning Show now. He's been in Morning Show also.
Yeah. Well, and he's also like,
he's in a lot of it.
like, didn't he like even produce? He was like a producer on Stranger Things. Isn't he?
Really? I didn't know that.
Like he's done way more on that side than he actually does in front of the camera.
This is an interesting premise, this show. That's why I want to check it out.
I'll just say based.
No, this is a waste. This is sitting at a 28.
Oh.
This is worse than Pulse, the medical drama, and worse than Happy Face, which is
That's rough.
yes, I don't know what. And they're getting, I mean, these are good actors.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've been mentioning a lot, I guess. It's like, it's not normally the actor's fault, especially lately. It's like directors/script.
A lot of times it's probably script and then just rushing it to get done.
Sure. Well, Pulse, I think, was definitely rushed because it looked AI. Write in, let me know. That's very specific. Or leave a comment. I'm curious if anyone's watched this.
But hey, I got 8.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It also helps when you know pretty much all the shows or most of them. Yeah, nice. All right. Good job, Josh. We'll be back to films next week. That has been Based or Waste. Tune in next week.
All right, so now it's time for White Lotus Season 3. At a tropical resort, guests and staff experience a week full of adventures, secrets, and unexpected encounters that shape their lives forever. So,
I guess it's just the premise of every season.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So let's just start, like, assume you watched season 1 and 2 as well.
Oh, yeah.
So what were your thoughts there before we go into season 3?
My thoughts of season 1 and 2.
Yeah, just quick.
I really like season 1 and 2. I like season 1 the best. I like season 2 a lot also, but not quite as much. So yeah, I really like those 2 seasons.
Pretty much the same. Like, I think they were both really strong.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat the season 1 though. Like,
it is.
But season 2 was a really good follow-up.
There's also the cast they got for those seasons, especially.
So then let's get into season 3. What was your thoughts about this season?
Yeah, way worse than season 1 and 2 for me personally.
Yeah.
Which was a bummer. It just I wasn't interested in the characters as much as the other seasons, which is a huge part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
There's still like a couple actors in this season that I love and like did really well in this season, but I just didn't really care about really any of the storylines too much at all. And Thailand though, like beautiful location, like it was awesome where they were, but it just, I don't know what happened to make the show. I don't know. Mike White, I don't know what he did or what he was trying to accomplish with this season, but it just significantly dipped for me this season as opposed to season 1 and 2.
I think
what about
I think we're on the same page in general.
Okay.
I think it didn't dip as far for me maybe as for
Okay.
you. But I do agree that this one season felt a little slow, and I also felt like I think like didn't care or connect with the characters as much as the other seasons.
Which is interesting because this is the longest season.
Yeah, this one has
which
one
is
episode
weird.
longer than the others, right?
Yeah.
So
think.
yeah, I think
Well, no, season 1 was 6. Season 2 was 7.
oh, okay, and this
Season
was 8.
3 is 8.
Oh, so they added one more.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So yeah, which is you're right, because it should give you more time to have more depth to the characters. Yeah, it just wasn't quite there.
No.
Again, not bad. I mean, I still glad I watched it, enjoyed it in general, but like when you're comparing it to season 1 and 2 that were like high, like I think both those years I would have probably made my top 10
Yeah.
shows of the year, of the year. And
Yeah.
this probably won't make it for this year.
No, I don't think so. I think there'll probably be 10 other shows. I'm sure I'll be able to find that that are going to be better than this.
Which I mean, Severance season 2, obviously, and then
The studio.
the studio
Probably
already,
will be
and
high.
then Andor season 2, and
True.
Last of Us season
Last
2,
of Us.
which are both like starting here real soon.
Yeah.
They'll probably both be better than this.
Yeah, although I am so, that's another reason why I'm so looking forward to Last of Us this season, because it's just I am so curious how they're going to do it, because there's just such huge things in that second game that I'm very curious how they're going to approach it. But yeah, the first 2 seasons of White Lotus, just like I was really into pretty much all the characters and their storylines and what they were either like why they were at this resort or what was their goals or motivations for what they wanted to do on it. And just pretty much everyone this season though is just, and I can't really pinpoint exactly why,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just didn't feel it this time.
Well, let's get into a little bit of. I
Okay.
kind of wrote down some notes just per like the characters in there.
Okay.
So we have Rick and Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Rick's, there for some kind of vengeance. You don't really know right off the bat. So the most memorable thing was like the snake bite scene was probably the most memorable.
That was the most
thing,
memorable. Okay.
I think, for them, right? Other than like the and stuff.
No, I think his arc towards the end,
Well,
where he goes.
As I was saying, like besides the end stuff, like in the finale.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
But that's another point, is that because I really, one of my notes is, I mean, I love Walton Goggins anyway, and I thought he did amazing as Rick. But he's also just seems to be having a kind of a moment right now between this and Gemstones and Fallout. And he's so stand out in all 3 of those shows. But yeah, he did really well. But he's one of the few, I think, for this season that actually had an arc. Like some of these characters, there was like no change or growth for them this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they left and they're just the same.
Mm.
Some of them,
Yeah,
because like Saxton, I think there was actually
a little bit.
yeah, which I thought was
well,
good.
we can get well for her though. There wasn't like Chelsea was the hopeless romantic that thought she could fix this guy, and just naive and stuff. And that in some ways, but then it's interesting because, but so as an example though, like I never really bought into like their relationship didn't feel authentic to me. Like they didn't seem to have the chemistry that you think that they'd have.
Rick and Chelsea.
Yeah. Like I feel like I didn't really buy that she actually loved him, even if she would say it all the time. And so it's like, I don't know if it's the actress.
This is the one that's from Sex Education, right?
She was in Sex Education.
Because I don't know if I've seen her in anything else.
I don't think I have either. And she was good in that in their role. So I don't know. Just something about it that like, I think
the moment where at the end of the season, when he comes back and they finally meet again, I could tell there, but also he's changed somewhat as a person. She hasn't, like we mentioned, but I could see their connection more then. But also he was gone for, I don't know how long, they don't really say, but
yeah, and then of course spoilers, because I mean covering the whole season. And then of course the climatic
yes,
ending for them, because he's the one that ends up. So this is the one thing I think they did a really good job this season, because previous 2 seasons you see somebody dead, and you're like, how do they get there? And this season you just hear the gunshots, and you hear multiple gunshots, and then it's like in the intro, and I think they there's a lot of little points where you're like, oh, is that how it's going to happen? Is that how it's going to happen?
Yeah.
And like, and then they end up not, and especially in this last episode, they were culminating to several things where you're like, oh, is that going to be and then you're like, no, that didn't happen. You know, so like there was definitely some good job of building that tension of like, where's this gun shooting or the shootout going to happen? When's it going to happen? And eventually it, comes from him, stealing the gun and firing and killing the guy that ultimately was his father. And
which that was
obvious from a viewer standpoint.
The one thing I was surprised about was like that he really did nothing when he first confronted him, at his house.
Didn't really tell him. He just said,
but like he didn't, like, it's funny. He just
knocked him over.
Yeah. He ended up just pushing him over in his chair.
Well, I imagine unless he's killed people before, it's not easy to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't really know if he has before.
Yeah, we don't really know what he was doing before. You assume he's doing some shady stuff as a business, because he just seemed like that kind of guy. But the tension of like how and who's going to die and how it was that part was done well.
I just want to say, just real quick, mention the score of this show, because I love how unique and experimental it's always been, and it's just very cool. The composer is Cristobal Tapia de Veer. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong, but I just always have liked, and we never talked in depth with season 1 or 2 really. So I want to mention how much I like the score. Do you like the score in this too? Even though it's very strange at times, and I wonder if some people hate it.
No, I like it, because
I think it's cool.
It's always does a good job of being this balance of like eerie and creepy, but then also not. Like, right. And it just kind of, and so
that's because of the different voices they do a lot of the time and different sounds. Yeah. It does sound creepy at times, but you're right.
But they do a good job of like towing that line and just like crossing the line a little bit at times, and just to like give you these like hints of like something's happening, but then it'll back off, and it's never like in your face so much, but it's so I think I think it's really good. Like,
cool. Me too.
Yeah, and then we have like the Ratliff family. So you have
yeah.
and there. This was definitely for some good entertainment. These people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of comedy here with the mom and dad, and the mom especially.
Definitely.
This is where my quote came from. But
yeah.
So there was a couple memorable moments for this family, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So the daughter wanted to come spend a year, and why they're even there. Originally said she had to do a research paper, and then turns out she lied about that, and then she really just wants to go for a year and stay at this, which on a brilliant move by the mother.
Yes.
To just be like, well, why don't you stay there at night when they finally, and then she realizes, oh yeah.
That was a highlight for sure.
Missed the creature. So like there was growth there. I don't know if it's good growth, but it's growth there for the daughter.
No, it was more, just her realization. She was like, no, I like being rich.
I like my creature comfort.
Yes,
like taking a shower. Because like she was like, I don't even want to talk to this. I need to take a shower. When her mom's like, how'd it go?
Her mom's face though, when she like she was just loving every second of it. Like when she like comes to the realization, like, I don't want to live that way, and I'm too comfortable in the way I have lived.
And it looked like her brother would be down for it, but then the younger brother, But then of course,
Lachlan, he
has like the kind of the tragic. So like the fun thing is like, here's another example of like, I feel like we didn't get enough of like the turmoil that he was dealing with. Like, there's a little bit on the phone calls, but like, it's like not enough of it to really feel the weight that he was feeling.
Wait, the dad or
the dad?
The dad. Okay. Yeah.
For the dad to,
he was just,
he's like all stressed all the time, and then he starts taking the mom pills.
Yeah. He's just on lorazepam and then drinking all the time. So yeah, he's just like most of the season, he's just out of it.
Yeah.
Just like groggy and
then he almost poisons his family.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like is, cause they did it a few times showing him just like shooting them.
Yes.
Cause it's like, this is dumb.
Or shooting himself.
And they did it a lot too. And I was like, this is like, I know this isn't real, and it didn't really help or,
like the first time
support the story at all.
The first time, well, he still had the gun. And then they open, and it might have even been a cold open or cut from like a different scene or a different group of people, and then coming back to him. And the first time you're like, oh my gosh, is he really going to kill himself? Right. And then it's like, oh no, he was just dreaming. You can do that one time, but don't do it like second, third, and fourth or whatever, because they definitely did a couple more times. And it was like, yeah, that's
also, I think I might have mentioned this when this season first started, but, I think this actor is great, but he's doing an awful accent.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right. I couldn't stand it the whole season. But
the mom's
is great though.
The mom's is great.
Yeah.
And then of course the oldest, Saxon.
Yeah.
Like playing a great, just douchebag.
Yeah. That's why I like it. I thought he actually had, like, I liked the storyline because he'd had a significant amount of growth actually, because he was like the most stereotypical douchebag guy. Like, he was that guy from the start of the season, and then by the end, like, he seemed very different, or his I guess I should say his priorities changed a lot by the end. So I don't. Because I can't remember if this was even like an underlying tone in season 1 or 2. There might have been somewhat. But why with this family? Like, why so much with the incest? I didn't understand that. Because it's not only like what happens with him and his brother, but like Lachlan, the way he is with his sister too, was very strange at times too. Nothing happens, but you notice that? Like the little brother,
like
with the sister, at times.
Some of the way like he would look at her and stuff,
yes.
But then also the older brother, like some of the comments he would make about the sister
with her too, So it was all three, very strange.
Well, I
just-
feel like that's what's the next level of shock, and this is like having
Yeah.
some kind of insight. I mean, like the scene where then him and his brother kind of end up.
Yeah, that was the
It's kind of like, okay, well, how do we notch it up even more than we have in previous seasons?
yeah. We're like, we're HBO. We did it in Game of Thrones. Let's keep doing it with other shows too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's so wild. I think in the final episode or second to last episode, the younger brother Lachlan, his response when they finally talk about it is ridiculous. Like, it's just yeah, crazy. I was just like wondering, like, why they lean so much into that this season?
Yeah.
Because that was a lot with that family in general. But overall, though, I still liked their storyline, but kind of mixed though, because some of it I really didn't like as well.
And they leave heading home, and like you said, like I feel like it's implied that the dad's kind of changed and it's like okay with
No.
it. You don't think so?
I don't think so. Well,
'Cause he
maybe
kinda-
a little bit with him, but that's what I mean, because like Saxon has had growth. The rest of them, though, they more just came to, like you said, the realization
The
of
mom,
what they
like
are.
nothing. The mom is like
Nothing.
The mom just realized, like, or just be like,
Yeah,
yes,
your quote. Yeah.
I convinced everyone else to do what I want them to do.
Yep. And then the daughter just came to the realization.
Mm-hmm.
The Lachlan, the younger brother, like,
well, he almost
there's nothing
died.
really.
so,
yeah,
like,
but there's not.
so maybe he's
I
like
don't know.
new. They just don't
No.
let you spend enough time with them to see
They don't.
any growth. But like definitely the Saxton, like, because then when he finally is asked to have sex with the other lady and let the old guy watch, like, and he's just like, no.
Right, which is like something he would have never turned that down.
Probably
before.
not. Yeah.
Also, okay, another thing that bothered me a lot about the ending that had to do with them. So, the dad, forget his name, Timothy, right? Something like that. Anyway,
Yep, Timothy. Yep.
when he finally grabs the fruit
Mm-hmm.
and starts blending it up,
Mm-hmm.
he just leaves it sitting there. Oh, no, actually, and even after that, after like because this was the next day after the pina coladas and all that, it's just sitting there. There's still stuff in it, and Lachlan goes and he's just like, yeah, I'll just do it. Like, there's just random stuff in the bottom of this blender that's been sitting overnight,
Well,
and he doesn't really care and just decides
because he smells it, because he wanted to have some, remember, and he wouldn't let him because he was like,
Okay.
it was the pina coladas, and he's like, I just want to try them. And he's like, nope, you get a Coke. So I think
okay.
he was like, he sniffed it and he was like, I'll just have a little bit of this pina colada in my protein shake, and he just added water
Okay.
and the scoop of protein to it and then blended it up.
Okay. All right, that makes a little more sense. I also want to say that I wanted to use the term for this because, like, throughout the whole season, like, there's a lot with Saxton with like trying to get him to drink the protein shake. So I wanted to say this season there was literally a Chekhov's protein shake
Yeah.
in this season, which is great.
That is true. That's true. Chekhov's protein shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, one the same with the tree. Like when you with the first day,
Oh, the tree. Yeah,
and
the fruit.
the
Yeah.
fruit, like with the suicide tree or whatever. Like, you're like, oh, that's going to come into play. There's no way
yeah.
you don't set that up. All right, so then we've got the three ladies, Lori,
Yep.
Armitz, and
I forget their names.
yeah, Lori was one of them. Lori was like the
I know the actresses' names, but I don't remember their names in the show.
so.
Yeah, how'd you feel about them? Because I didn't really.
I liked the
Didn't really
initial
like it.
setup. I was like, okay, this is cool. And like when they were kind of
Yeah.
teasing about like, oh, remember in high school, and like, of course you were the face and we were the arms, and like those kind of things where they kind of set up their dynamic. I thought that was done well, like the dynamic between like three friends that have been friends since high school.
Yeah, it's a very real thing between they secretly hate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they set that up well.
Yes.
I think I think in general, didn't mind their thing. I think just the resolution for it was done, which is weird because again the season was longer, but like the resolution was done kind of quickly.
Yeah,
and it didn't seem as authentic, other than the Lori. I think like the one that was that actually then went off and went to the boxing thing and stuff like.
Yeah, Carrie Coon's character. Yeah.
Like I think she felt like there was something.
Well, she's the one that's the most envious of the other two.
Yeah, but then she finally came like she was like real with them in the end, and I think
she's
she
like,
also,
I just like being here with you all. Yeah.
But then also she she kind of ran off on her own and finally like was like, yeah, I'm not just gonna just do what you guys want to do, and
had sex with the Russian.
Yep,
and then had to jump out the window.
Yeah. So like that stuff I thought was good. So I think theirs was kind of okay. Like there was just again, I think some of it was just like it's weird because like some of it felt like it was just drawn out too long because there's too many episodes, and then but then other parts are like, well, but also didn't give enough time to like really reconcile properly.
No, because I don't know if you felt this, but like as the season went, it felt very slower than season 1 and 2. But then like this ending though, then felt like a
lot in the last episode
rushed. So it's
weird
overall for the season. Yeah.
But yeah, and then they all left, I guess, being better friends than they were before.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They kind of are all a little more honest about things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like the moment where, at least to me, it seems like it was kind of the moment where she realized and then wanted to tell the other two girls is in the ending when she's like looking out there and they're like taking selfies of each other in the pool. And at least to me, her face in that moment, seeing them like that, kind of makes her realize. And then I think shortly after that is when she has that interaction with them.
Yeah, when says, like they're eating dinner or something.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that moment.
Yeah, but it was, yeah. And then we've got the, we have Gary / Greg that came back from previous season, which is an interesting way to kind of still bring Tanya's storyline still in there, right? And
shout out to Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Yep. So I'll always remember.
Yeah, it's hard not to see him in anything else. So that, I think that worked well because introducing him initially, you felt like, because then Belinda, because it kind of crossed over with Belinda's stuff, who also was from season 1. And
season 2, she wasn't in. I don't think she was in all 3. Was
no,
she?
It's just she was only in season 1. Belinda.
Season 1. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought she was in season 2.
No, because she was the masseuse that
That's
helped
right.
Tanya in season 1.
They were going to go into business,
and then that
together.
She didn't go back to it. So that's that.
Okay.
So I thought it was an interesting way to still bring Tanya's storyline in.
Yeah,
I think they did a good job of making him feel a little bit creepy, menacing, and then you're like, because we still don't really know, did he kill her or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But and of course now he's dating this like young girl model type chick that just likes him for his money, but then says no.
Right.
Yeah. And so, and then of course eventually he makes a proposition to Belinda to money to kind of not tell people where he is. And then she kind of bargains with him to get $5 million instead of the $500,000 he originally. There was a $500,000 he originally.
Yes,
it was less than $1 million what he originally proposed. And this,
how did you feel about Belinda's storyline altogether?
I think it's weird that she decided to just abandon. Like I thought, like at first it's just like this, like, oh, she's there for training in a different, you know, and like I could believe that, like at these like very high end ridiculous resorts, do some cross training like that. You go stay at this other one for a month and learn. Sure. But then the stuff with the money, and then her like having the moral issues, and then eventually taking it, but
and
then
her son,
but like, but then not going with the guy. Like she met this guy and then just like ditching him. So that was a little weird.
Yeah, I think her storyline was one of the weakest of this season.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it.
It was kind of like a secondary.
Her and the whole Mook and
that's what I was gonna like the last one.
Yeah, but I do
Gay Talk and Mook.
There it is. Yeah, but I do want to mention, because Mook is played by Lisa from Blackpink, which is awesome, like a K-pop band that I really like. And I didn't know she's an actor. I don't know if she's been in anything else before, but I thought that was cool. Have you ever listened to Blackpink?
No.
But
I knew she was like a.
So you knew her? Okay.
Yeah, I knew that's what she was.
I didn't realize that was her at first. But yeah, so I think that's cool. But yeah, that was one of the worst. Also, was her and Guy Talk. Yeah.
Well, she just seems so superficial. Like she was only about like whether you had ambition.
She really
or not.
did. Yeah.
And you're like, that's such a weird thing, because otherwise she seems such a sweet.
Yes.
Girl. Like it'd be different if they played her off as just kind of like a little bit more nasty and had no depth. But she seemed
really sweet.
Really sweet. But then anytime that didn't fit with her character, because then you're like, that's weird that you'd be this shallow about that thing, but then everything else you seem like you're a real person.
And then Guy Talk's just way too nice.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's just like, Mr. like. But that I thought, like, 'cause I mean, like, that's kind of like, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like that personality. And then he, isn't good at really being a security guard.
No.
But in the end, he.
Yeah, but I felt
through.
like that didn't really pay. Well, it wasn't a good payoff for that last little moment of him to finally, shoot the gun.
Yeah. Well, I think we didn't get to really see the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
Emotionally for him.
Yeah.
Because I think we should have, and again, it's where like rushing it, and then at the end felt like just rushing it. I mean, then you see like the quick clip of him and her, like, and it's like he's driving the black car now, and he's a bodyguard, but it's like, okay, yeah, but like, does that mean he like was okay with killing somebody? Because he really wasn't before.
No, and he still hesitated a lot.
And then he didn't turn in the guys that actually stole the crap.
Oh, the Russians, yeah.
Yeah, because he figured out who was.
Yes.
Which I was like, dude, come on.
Also, that's just like, yeah, it did seem kind of sketchy, like Mook's kind of her priorities, because that was like when he finally was like, oh yeah, I found the people who did this. That was like when she liked him the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was just, kind of. I don't know. Yeah. So you're right. She was
just a weird character.
Yeah, just weird.
Like not or not consistent character. Let's put it that way.
Or maybe she is just that superficial. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I think
can't really tell though.
The other interactions, she wasn't that way.
No,
that's why it like doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
But
my other note, because I want to bring him up, unless you were connecting him to someone else, but I love Sam Rockwell coming in halfway through this season.
Well, I was going to mention him too. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like his stuff with working with Goggins. What was his name?
Rick.
Yeah.
I don't remember Sam Rockwell's character's name though. Goggins was Rick.
Yeah.
But
like that side plot with them having to go to Bangkok and stuff. That was fun. Yeah. He was ridiculous.
He was. Especially that long scene where he explains what was he saying is what he was doing like over this long period of time, but then like
how he ended
explaining how far he wants to go into this very specific experience. Fetish, yeah.
But then eventually you like realized nothing was there, and so then he's like, nope. So now I'm sober and celibate, and
But then he goes back
Then he
into
goes
it.
back like just in the movie.
Yeah. But then the very last scene, he's back at the monastery.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but no, yeah, he was a great character.
Yeah. Well, any other last thoughts about this? I mean,
No.
I did see it's renewed for season 4.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it's still, I imagine, because season 1 got so big and then season 2 was even bigger.
Yeah.
And so I imagine the views for this season were massive.
Yeah.
So
it'd be cool to see. I mean, I feel like I'm still, even though this one was a little bit of a dip, I think maybe
I'll
a
still
bigger
watch
dip
on
for
this.
you than me, but yeah, I think still excited for another season of this because season 1 and 2 were so good.
yeah.
And I think
Where do you think they will go next? That's the
Let's see.
question.
what could be fun is some kind of like more Arctic thing, right?
Arctic. Okay.
Yeah, like there's like spas they have where it's like there's snow,
yeah.
but then like they have hot springs and stuff, and
Yeah, that'd be sick.
like something like that. That's like more that could be
Yeah.
cool. Because we basically did 2 tropical. I mean, Hawaii and then Thailand.
Yeah, what was the other place?
It was Sicily or Italy.
That's right. It was in Italy. Yeah. For season 2. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you think? No. I mean, I guess that really. I don't know why you would do that.
but
I was just thinking, like, would they ever actually do it in America at all? But I guess there's no White Lotuses in.
well, I mean the goal or the
I know it's not exotic locations like in,
location for
but
a
I'm
bunch
just thinking of something
for a
that
bunch
like
of Americans to go visit.
sure, but I'm thinking of like a place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because there are places like that technically that are still technically
Right.
in America.
I mean, I guess so. You could go to South America.
I was
Somewhere
gonna say we haven't been to South America
so
yet.
You know, Brazil, Venezuela, somewhere.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot down. Yeah.
down there further south.
What was the movie we did not too long ago, Buenos Aires?
Yeah,
That looks sick from even just that movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
So you got that, but like I said, I think some type of like Arctic kind of.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That we just give it a different texture altogether.
Yeah. I mean, you and I
or-
would love it if it was like in Portugal. That'd be sick.
Well, the other thing would be like, or some kind of more mountainous
Yeah.
thing. I mean, they had a little bit of that with the Sicily. It kind of
Little
had
bit.
a little bit more, but like, yeah, if you went somewhere that was like just more of like a mountain, you know, in the Alps or something.
Alps,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, something like that where it's just like crazy. But also
Yeah.
these guys-
Or like New Zealand or
yeah,
something like that.
desert and go to Australia or South Africa where you get like kind of more like lions and elephants and things like that around. I don't know. There's plenty of places in this
There is,
world that
yeah.
are still.
Well, that's what
Then
that
of course, you know, eventually you run out of places. Then you just do one in space.
that'll be the final season.
White Lotus, the moon.
Yeah. That would be crazy. But that is the even though this season I really didn't like that much, but he's still it is a genius concept for a show because you said there's so many locations. He could just keep doing
Well,
it.
and the cinematography was fantastic in this
Yes.
season, even if like
It was.
the visuals are always so great in this.
And it's a show that actors want to be on because it's
Anthology
right. So it's just like a
And-
mini series. They can sign on for
that, and then it's also a lot of like character work, right?
right. And also it's like because a lot of actors want to be on anyway because they're like, oh, I can just stay at this place. Like all of them are just staying there while they're shooting. Like it's like probably such a great job to be on. You know, like I imagine there's a lot of people. I did find out that one of the main reasons Sam Rockwell was on this season was because he's married to
Yep.
Leslie Bibb, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, that's an easy thing. So he was just there anyway, I'm assuming, just hanging out. And
Or
they were
like it was an easier way to be like, hey, why
Like,
don't you
yeah,
play
I'll
this
come
other
with you,
this
yeah.
character and you can hang out with your wife.
that's
for a
cool. Yeah.
little. Yeah.
It was cool to see very briefly, but Scott Glenn in this also because I'm rewatching Daredevil and he's Stick in Daredevil, which he's an awesome character. But yeah, it was cool to see him as Rick's dad. Dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was in season 1 of Daredevil.
He's in all of or I think he's in all of the seasons, or at least in 2 of them, and then in the Defenders also.
Yes,
He's in a decent amount of it, yeah. But he was awesome.
he's not in the current one though, is he? I haven't watched all of it, but what I've watched so far.
Because I don't know if they kill him off eventually, but no, I don't know. I'm Daredevil, the new Daredevil. I'm saving up and waiting them, which will be soon. They're almost all out now, and I'm gonna watch it. But
yeah,
I was rewatching the Netflix one, which is so good still.
Well, let us know if you have thoughts about the White Lotus season 3 or 1 and 2. You can send us your thoughts or feedback or comments you can email those at feedback@screentimepod.com, or leave us a comment or DM. And please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all Screen Time Pod. And if you'd like to follow each one
real quick, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but The Last of Us is what we'll be
we've
next
mentioned
week.
a couple times already. So
okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah,
we'll be covering Last of Us week to week.
Yeah, cool.
Season 2 after this. Next time. But yeah, so if you want to follow either one of us on Instagram, I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right, you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.